Okay, it's a 2000 Odyssey. We just did that side. We did shocks and springs. Here's the springs. That's the old spring. And here's the old shock, which didn't really seem shot. The van's got about 130,000 miles on it. The back was sagging, so we're replacing both. We did this side already. You can see it's much higher up than it was. Before, you couldn't even get your hand underneath it. That's the lug pattern. The cameraman thinks that's important. Okay. We're gonna chock the wheels on the other side, jack the other side up, pull the other tire, and then we'll start filming again after that. All right, we gotten the wheel off. So, no, the emergency brake's not on, but we already chocked the front. Car's jacked up in two places. Underneath the sport arm, or the A arm, I guess, and it's got a jack stand under it. You got to get the jack stand under here to hold the body up the whole time, and then you'll screw around lowering or raising the jack depending on what you're doing over here. I threw some of this stuff. It's like Walmart special penetrating spray. It's good for rust. Ideally, people said do this the day before. I was too lazy to rip the wheels off twice. So spray top and bottom of the shock, as well as, if you can see in here, back behind here, this bolt. You're going to take this off in order to lower the spring. So we're going to be taking this off, and this, which I think is the, I'm guessing, could be the cable for the emergency brake. It's got two bolts holding the bracket on. We're going to take this off and wire it up. So the next time you see it, this will be wired up. This bolt will be off, and this will be a lot lower, the entire drum. That's it for now. Okay, this bracket's off, wired out of the way. We took the bolt off down here, so the A-arm swings down. With your foot, give it a good ram, and the spring should be pretty loose. At this point, here's what you want to do. You want to get a piece of tape and just mark the spring and put another little piece of tape on the A-arm. That way you know which is the top and bottom of the spring, so you can match that up when you put it back, and which way the spring should kind of be turned. We've already lowered the jack and moved it out of the way, and that's what's letting this swing so low. You really want to look for damage on this. If you can see in here, there's usually a rubber cup. This is the one from the old side. Ideally, like everybody else on the internet, they said they found them shredded in there and they would have gotten new ones if they'd known. I fall into that same category. Would have gotten a new one if I'd known. Didn't know, so put back nothing. On the top, the one on the top, similar thing, but it's in much better shape. I cleaned it up, threw on some silicone, and put it back up there. These, we're about to take this spring out. It's loose. I'm just going to mark it first, and by the time the video comes back on, the spring will be out, and I'll be getting ready to put the next spring in. Okay, spring's out. This is what sits on the top. It's got a little cutout, not a cutout, but a notch out. I don't know if it originally came that way or if that's just how it got over wear, but I tried to match up onto the new spring the same way. If you can see in here, there's a little bit of wear indicating this is hit, but nothing monumental. This is worn out. I sprayed this out just to clean it out, and now I'm just going to throw a little bit of silicone on here and all over here, just because I think silicone's some magic that kind of protects rubber a little bit. Next time you see the video, I will have taken this, put it on the new spring, and slid the new spring up. You're going to push it up first into the car, then push that bottom A-arm down with your foot, push this down, just grab it with your foot along the edge, and force the new spring up into there. It can be a one-person job. It's easier as a two-person job. Okay, here's what we've done. Over here, we've put the new spring in, and again, it was just a matter of pushing this down with your foot, slide the spring up, and you see I put tape on the new spring so that way I know, one, what's top and bottom, because it makes a difference, and two, it helps me just orient it properly in there. There's actually a little like dip down for where the end of the spring goes. I've loosened this because I had it tied up this high. I loosened it. You can see where the jack is supporting this. I also have a jack stand holding the body up. So our next step is we're taking this out, because because we're done with that. And we're going to take this bracket, secure it again, and after that I'll probably lower the jack so that I can get at the bottom shock bolt, and I'm going to take the shocks off then, or at least this particular side. After I get the bolts out for the shock, compress the shock with your hand. It makes it a lot easier to get it out. So you compress it and then, you know, rush like a lunatic to get it out of there because it starts to expand pretty quickly again. Once the old shock's out, we'll pick up the video there. New shock is in. And again, the process was take this bolt out. There's a bolt on the bottom. The little grief is if you put the jack right under the control arm, the A-arm, the grief you run into is jack's in the way of the bolt for the shock. So you can either raise and lower the jack a couple of times and move things out of the way, or you can find a better position to put the jack in. Since I have a helper and I don't care how many times he has to raise and lower the jack, I went with the raise and lower the jack method. The added advantage is raise and lower in jack. You can raise the jack a little bit and position the shock exactly where you want it, so it's 1, 2, 3 to get the bolts in. Tighten the bolts, torque them to 47 pounds. Someplace online somebody said 47 pounds was the right number. I didn't bother to look it up, so that's blind trust. And that's the whole job. All that's left is to put the wheels on, or put the wheel on, and tighten it up, and you're done. Whole job took us, we started at 11 o'clock. It's 1:30 now. We did both sides, so it's not a big job at all. And that's shocks and springs. In a minute, once everything's back in, I'll let you know how much changed the height of the van.